Welcome to the Victory Formation Lounge podcast, a pro football concentrated podcast that discusses NFL games week to week.
Trouble in the Bay. What the fuck?
Hey.
Wow.
We out here.
Oh, maybe he's talking about Tampa Bay, not Bay Area. I was like, man, come on. How are you throwing shots at me already with your name?
The divisional round is upon us. And there's only one of us left in the playoffs on this panel. So I will begin with my off-season self. I'm Tony, and I like the Indianapolis Colts.
Minos, a.k.a. the Highlander. There can be only one.
Sigh, Patriots Nation, destroy and rebuild.
Philadelphia Eagles.
That's it. And without further ado, I guess we could jump into the few of us that were in the playoffs this week, namely just one of us. Kweku, that debacle. I know you predicted it last week, so I guess you're not disappointed, but I guess you might be disappointed about how it went down because it was a straight fisting. It was just straight up. It was embarrassing.
I mean, it was embarrassing. It's funny enough to say, I think the defense had a little bit of life, but at the same time, I'm getting somewhere. A little bit of life because, I mean, to still get, 6 sacks in a game, the offense was not helping them enough in order for them to gain some momentum. So, obviously, at some point, you're just going to take your foot off the gas and just let them score because, offense comes in, douches off, and then, the pressure's on the defense. Coaching was bad. Honestly, I got to say coaching was bad. Sorry for Nick. Somebody poured popcorn on him. But the coaching was terrible. I mean, they were not making any adjustments on offense, whatsoever. Because we thought they were going to just go in and just run the ball, just pound the damn thing. I mean, but they couldn't get it. I don't know if the failed tush push just took their spirits out. Because, there was a foul on the play, which obviously they missed. But it's just overall, it was just a bad game. I don't know. The blame goes around. Nick is partly to blame for it. Jalen, the players are partly to blame for it. I think the blame even goes as high as to GM. This was bad. I mean, to lose 6 out of 7 games in a row, that was a disaster. I mean, this was major. So curious to see the changes. I mean, there was a report that came out that said Nick Sirianni was safe, and now all of a sudden there's another report coming out saying, oh, he hasn't met with Jeffrey Lurie yet. So it's okay, which one is it? So I'm just curious to see. I mean, I don't know.
If you guys decide to get rid of him, who would you want? You personally?
Personally, I think it has to be a defensive-minded coach. If I had it my way, unfortunately, it's not going to be that way. With the coaches that are available, I would say probably Vrabel or the OC for Detroit, who I'm hearing might go to Washington. But, I would want Vrabel because you need somebody to come and fix the defense, and then I'm sure he can find a good OC that will take over the offense because, the character of Jalen will fit well with somebody like Vrabel. I mean, I think that's also another thing because you can just tell, even with Jalen, I mean, it didn't look like he was backing up Sirianni in his press conference compared to, how Dak was backing up Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, you could just see it. I mean, I don't think they've been on the same page. I think, and a lot of people are quick to blame Brian Johnson. Yeah, Brian Johnson has some blame, but at the same time, I think it's more Nick Sirianni because there are reports that Brian Johnson tries to call a certain play, and then Nick would override it. Like, for instance, I can't remember which game it was, but Brian was calling for a throwing play, and Nick wanted them to run it, and the play botched. So I don't know. I mean, for me, if there's going to be a change, at the same time, too, I don't see why. I mean, I get why maybe Nick shouldn't be fired, because I get that. Yeah, you lost 2 coordinators in the same season, but at the same time, you should be able to adapt. I mean, the same thing is going to probably happen to Detroit, and I'm curious to see how they adapt next year with Dan Campbell. Probably going to lose both coordinators, so head coaching job.
I don't trust. To your point, I don't trust defensive head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain why. Like, I had this discussion with Abel the other day, and this is a great point that he made up, or he brought up. Like, when you have a defensive coach, you have to, in this era of football, you have to have a great offensive coordinator. And if you have one good year of that offensive coordinator doing well, he's gone. He's going to be a head coach. So then you're fucked. So you're better off having an offensive-minded coach. That way he's your head coach, and you can still put up points. And then, like, if you get a good defensive coordinator, they're easier to replace than an offensive guru. Part of the reason why teams like the Niners remain relevant every year. I mean, they have great defensive players, but they lose their coordinators left and right, but they're replaceable. If they lose Shanahan right now, it's curtains. It's curtains. So, like, for me personally, I would go rather offensive coach and then a great defensive coordinator. As long as you draft well, you know how to find the depth pieces in free agency as far as defense goes, rather than having a defensive coach and a great offensive coordinator that is going to be gone the moment you have one really good year. And it's harder to replace a very good offensive coordinator than it is to replace a defense, in my opinion. Anyway, like, that's kind of what it shows even in the league.
Well, also with us though, having Shanahan and Lynch is like a great compliment to each other. I mean, you had Lynch, who was part of some Hall of Fame defenses.
Very true.
And then you got Shanahan that's been around innovative offenses ever since he was a kid. And so you put those two together, you build, like a character of your team. It's kind of like what the Steelers were for I don't know how many decades. You build, you get these linebackers and DEs that are going to murder your whole family. And then you figure the rest out.
I agree.
With us, we built straight through the middle, and knock on wood, I mean, it's been a long time since the 49ers have been without a top-tier linebacker, even when we were dog shit. I mean, back in the days with like Gary Plummer and the old days of Ken Norton Jr. at the end of his run.
Yeah.
You've had a shit ton of linebackers, and that's like our identity on defense. Hard hitting, even as far as Ronnie Lott. So but like what I'm seeing with the Eagles is like, pick something. I mean, last year their defense was murdering motherfuckers. This year their defense doesn't even. They would suck at flag football right now.
It's peak, yeah.
It was wild.
Oh, they're not tackling. They don't know how to tackle right now either.
And the thing with the Eagles, I think if you look at last year, they lost their whole starting back end besides Slay and Bradbury to free agency. So like you lost both your linebackers, you lost both your safeties. Like and if you look at how much those players were signed for in free agency, you sit down and you're like, dude, you could have. I get the Miles Sanders piece. Okay, let him walk. I mean, I think DeAndre is better, but like I feel like you probably that was where they screwed up, because now it's like with linebackers, you got to start all over again. Right now, you're gonna have to probably change your philosophy, because if you look even 2 years ago, Hamlin was it what's the Ravens safety? He was picked after Jordan Davis, and he's having a Pro Bowl year.
Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton, yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, and then even last year, you picked Nolan Smith before the safety with Detroit, the rookie. And those were all, and they just need to get out of that philosophy. And like Mino said, it's about drafting. Because right now you look at our head coach, Sirianni never played in the league. He played in a D2 school. He wasn't really calling plays in Indy. I get that he was setting things up in terms of game day, the concepts, but he's not a play caller. And Harry Roseman is more of an analytics guy. He's Jeffrey Lurie's boy. He's probably not going to get rid of him. So you have all this. And honestly, even if they fired Nick Sirianni, I feel like they're going to have a hard time replacing him because a lot of coaches may not want to play under Howie because of how he is. And I get how Howie is because he lost in a power struggle with Chip Kelly, and he's not trying to lose another power struggle. So he's going to continue to bring all these dummy coaches in because the legit coaches don't want to coach him. They don't want to work with him after some time.
I'll tell you what, I agree, definitely agree with what you said, Anthony, because if you look at the league now, it's obviously a different league than 80s, 90s. A lot of things have changed. There's different rules. If you look at defensive coaches in the NFL in history, the GOATs, Belichick, Dungy, these are defensive-minded guys. But when you look at the offensive coaches, especially in history, you had Joe Gibbs. He came up under the Don Coryell offense. Like, all these young coaches, a lot of problems, too, that we had is these older coaches, especially if they're defensive-minded, they're not connecting with the players.
Right.
They're from a different era.
100%.
So, I'm the same way. Like, if I get a new coach, give me somebody that's offensive-minded because absolutely, you need somebody who's thinking from a different point of view than defensively because you can't really think of a defensive guy in the NFL that's like year after year. Like Belichick's not coaching at the moment. Well, he's going to be coaching, but
the thing is, and I agree with you. But when you have a defense that is playing that terrible, you need somebody to fix it. Because if you get an offensive-minded coach, unless you're bringing in like what we did with Doug Peterson, unless you're bringing in a defensive coordinator who has been a head coach in the past. But if you're bringing in, because like with how the Eagles lost two coordinators, one of the coordinators they should have brought in should have been somebody with head coaching experience instead of bringing in two young coaches. You brought Sean Desai, whose defense sucked in Chicago.
Honestly,
he went to Seattle.
Ron Rivera, even if like Ron Rivera, he's not a good head coach, but he could be great for defense.
That's what I'm saying. Defense. Like somebody like that. Like you want to bring in, and even with Nick, with the two coordinators, I'm hoping that if he comes back, I'm hoping that they bring somebody like a Ron Rivera, or I'm even thinking more like Rex Ryan, somebody who doesn't really want to be a head coach, but their specialties on defense.
I think also boils down in your scenario. I think it also boils down to the philosophy, right? So you consult with the head coach and you ask him, okay, the defense is trash. What kind of defense are you looking for? Are you looking for an opportunistic defense where you're going to be a high-scoring offense and you want to feast on pass rushing, or do you want to be would you rather have one of those aggressive, risk-taking defenses that does a lot of risk, like blitzing and whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that concept down packed, then it's the GM's responsibility to know how to interview and find the right replacement for this.
So you could have a defensive, or you could have a defensive player like Antonio Pierce, great guy, great coach. D'Amico Ryans, these guys were ballers in the NFL. Like these guys are great coaches. They know how to connect with the players. They know what's going on.
And that's
Sure.
the thing. I mean, even for a defensive-minded coach, you do want somebody, and just like what Simon said, you do want somebody who connects with the players. And you get it with those two. But in that case, you want to have, for a defensive-minded coach, you want to have a solid offensive. And also, it's not good for a defensive-minded coach to have a quarterback who's not a superstar. Like DeMeco, I got to say this. DeMeco is great, but I think he locked in very well with C.J. Stroud.
He also took our assistant offensive coordinator / QB coach, Bobby Slowick, who's been with Kyle and McDaniel forever.
Mm-hmm.
So the Slowicks, they're basically the part of the Shanahan tree. And he's essentially given that. DeMeco's given that to him. He's like, yo, you do this shit.
And he's about to get interviews. I think he's supposed to be interviewing.
He is.
He's going to go be a coach. You know what I mean? See, that's the problem with the league. That's why there's not going to be any dynasties, because all these guys move around. Dynasties, I mean, it's
trees, man.
Yeah.
You got to pick from the tree. I mean, it's certain trees, like now there's a Shanahan tree now. I mean, at one point, the Andy Reid tree was running, but it looks like it's also running its course. So you're going to get a lot of people getting pulled from San Francisco, even with the GMs. I mean, they're pulling people from there. Yeah. I would start pulling, even with all these coordinators that Nick and Howie are looking for. I would look in San Francisco, to be honest with you, like all these assistants. Yeah, I mean, especially for an offensive coordinator, not for defense.
First of all, how y'all gonna do my man like that? My man Shaq Leonard didn't even record a snap.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's Matt Patricia. It's like, and the thing is this, dude. This whole coordinator change in the middle of the season, I think that screwed a lot of things up because it got worse.
Well, San Fran beat y'all all the other teams the key to beat the Eagles, I thought.
Oh, that's why the Bills is a jerk, and that's why I'm going for Jordan Love, baby. Love connection.
For 11 games, you stopped doing that for the last 7. It's weird.
We were not adjusting. They were not making adjustments. That's
y'all just completely avoided running the ball.
Yeah,
they were trying to throw, and it's like, dude, that's not your identity.
John has been barking about y'all being. I ain't gonna lie, John has said this since fucking like mid-season. Like, why do you keep abandoning the run? Like, and you never changed. Like, Swift was having a pretty damn good year, and he was helping.
And it's Gainwell.
I think Sirianni was trying to prove something that backfired. I think it was. I gotta put it on Sirianni because you were calling this dog shit game. When Steichen took over, they started running the ball. It was more balanced. After he leaves, things were okay for a couple of weeks, and then went back to dog shit.
No, the crazy part to me is fucking this. You already had Gainwell and Boston Scott. Then you sign Rashad Penny and trade for DeAndre Swift and don't fucking use him.
Yeah, it's wild, dog.
And then you don't even use Boston against the Giants.
I don't remember the last time I heard Rashad Penny touch the ball.
Yeah.
Why'd y'all sign him?
There's one positive thing in the game, though. The Eagles' defense, they made Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady.
Which is crazy because, you got 6 sacks on him, but I'm like, dude, what's up? You probably should have gotten more. 6 sacks is a lot, but I'm like, you should have been intercepting him left and right.
Yeah, that shit's wild, B.
These dudes were thrown in the middle.
Tampa Bay also had 6 drops that could have been scored.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of changes need to come. Unfortunately, some of these contracts are screwed up. Bradbury's contract is a mess. There's a lot of money up front. I'm like, dude, what the I mean, and I think he's probably going to get – I think he has confidence issues looking at him for DB. It's going to be interesting unless something – they need the right coach in there, even on defense. honest. They need somebody to bring some toughness in. Because, like, what? 10? How many missed tackles? They had like 10, some weird number.
Y'all had like 10 on that one play alone.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, can't somebody just take him?
Man.
No heart. It's like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think, personally, I don't believe in anybody getting fired. But if Sirianni's going to get fired, it's probably going to be because of this. Has he lost the locker room? I think he's probably lost it, but people don't want to admit it.
Fletcher Cox went really hard for him today.
Fletcher Cox is about to be a free agent. He's trying to come back.
How old is Cox? Pause.
Cox is like 31.
He's what?
Like 31, maybe 32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's getting a little long in the tooth.
He's probably trying to come back. BG's trying to play an extra years before he hangs it up.
Fletcher could get a good, decent 2 or 3 year contract with his age, since he's just a nose tackle.
Yeah, but I think he's doing the 1 year. He's doing what Kelsey's doing. I think he's just doing.
How was his season? Not very good, Cliff. It
was all right. I mean, it wasn't like last year.
He was solid because usually your run defense is stuck. What happened to Anthony Davis, dog? Isn't that his name?
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. Yeah.
So there's all kinds of stuff going around. There's all kinds of stuff going around about he gained weight during the season, which is kind of weird.
I think he ran that rookie wall.
Nah, but he's not a rookie. He's a.
That's right.
That's Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter had 6.5 sacks.
He's an end or
that is true.
He's a D tackle.
Jordan Davis.
That's not bad for a D tackle, rookie D tackle.
No, he didn't get 6.5. Jalen Carter got 6.5 for a rookie tackle.
Jalen Carter, does he play end or tackle?
No, tackle.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
That's pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah, for 6 sacks for a tackle is solid.
Yeah, but the dude in the Rams, he had what, like 9 or 10?
Yeah, cool. Little man he's not little, but he wasn't expected to be such a, But to be fair, he took advantage of Aaron Donald's double, triple teams.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're saying Jalen Carter might win the Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I think it's going to be the Rams dude.
Nah, it's definitely going. The Ravens guy's not a rookie; he's a second year.
No, he's a second year.
He might win. He might win Defensive Player of the Year. Actually,
who?
Kyle Hamilton.
I don't think.
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is probably the front.
Myles Garrett. It's probably Myles Garrett.
He's probably the front runner, but Kyle Hamilton is a strong mention. He had quite a year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I did predict you guys to lose, but I didn't think it would be that embarrassing.
I did. And honestly, close to the game, after I watched the Cowboys, I'm like, dude, we could probably
I knew not having AJ Brown would have kind of hurt y'all, but damn.
It wouldn't have made a difference, bro. The way they lost,
it wouldn't have.
They lost, he wouldn't have made a difference.
It wouldn't have.
They might have made it a little more competitive, but it would still been like there was nothing there.
I expect them to lose like that. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Goddard getting into it with Hurts on the sideline.
Apparently, I think they got into it, but they're trying to make it seem like he didn't get into it with him. But I think something happened.
The funniest part about this whole thing is Naeem coming for me when the dude dropped the pass. All of us, he just automatically texted me laughing, ha ha, out of the. I was like, bro, are you really laughing at me? Do you see the state of the Eagles right now? You have literally all your players, and you're probably gonna get kicked out next week. I'm playing with a backup quarterback. I didn't like if we make it to the playoffs. It's a good thing, but I don't expect us to do anything. You have bigger problems than we do right now. Like, seriously. And he thought I was bullshitting. And then this week, I haven't heard from him yet.
I understand. He ain't got nothing to say, bro.
He got nothing to say.
Put like a text in the polo, but that's it.
He ran his mouth way too soon.
Oh my gosh. That's naive for you though. Like you gotta love it. That's him.
That is exactly why I am shutting the fuck up.
Good idea. Hey, man.
Because Jordan Love, man, he shit. He could
Yo, Steve Wilkes better come correct.
He was dropping dimes. I'm like, man, what the? I think after the second touchdown, I was like, nah, dude, this is not looking good. I think this guy's about to run over.
How does Green Bay do it? This isn't fair. Like three quarterbacks.
It's that tree. It's what we were talking about. It's the Shanahan tree. It's that because their head coach is also he used to be with Washington. He used to be with y'all.
Yeah.
Well, think of it this way.
Daniel,
in the past, LaFleur would have to run offenses that were like some of his shit, some of what Rodgers wanted. Now it's
all
LaFleur.
him.
And Jordan Love is a smart quarterback, and after some rough speed bumps at some points during the season,
I'll be right back.
Figuring the shit out.
No problem. You know the funny thing?
Aaron Jones,
we flirted.
Aaron Jones.
We flirted on trading up to get Jordan Love, but that was the year we ended up trading for DeVorest Buckner instead.
No.
Yeah, we actually did. Like Chris Ballard was a big fan of his, and he considered, going up to get him. Especially this is right after Aaron Rodgers. This is right after
Andrew Luck
retired. Like literally right after Andrew Luck retired. So he was like, Then they were like, all right, we could stop gap with Rivers. We don't have a difference maker on defense. Let's go get Defoe. And it worked out kind of. Yeah.
Minos, you said you're worried about the game and you're shutting the fuck up. But like y'all said a few moments ago, LaFleur, he's part of the Shanahan coaching tree, right?
Yeah.
So what's it called? Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all anticipate that he's gonna be using some of y'all moves, and y'all be able to see that, I guess. But
yeah,
hopefully. I mean, like Tayshaun Gibson was on. I can't remember. He was on Richard Sherman's podcast today, and Richard Sherman was asking him about how bad Shanahan likes to fuck with the defense during practice, and he was just kind of like, "Yeah, I mean, it's bad. He throws some stuff at us that you can't even stop it, and it messes with our heads. But then when we get into a game, we're like." Okay, now we see it.
Show me on the floor.
And so, but who the hell knows, man? At the end of the day, if you run our offenses correctly, it's really hard to stop unless you got playmakers. My hope is that our rest, because when we have extra rest, we usually come out balling. And
personnel for personnel, there's no competition. The thing that makes Green Bay dangerous is they don't have any household names. Everybody is kind of on the come up. Their leading receiver is a rookie. What's the Dobbs? Is like their wide receiver number 2. You know what I'm saying?
They got nothing to lose.
There you go. There you go. Personnel for personnel, there's no competition. Like you guys are like head and shoulders above them.
Hey,
Another flaw in Green Bay's defense that they can't stop a run all that much either. And Dallas was not able to take advantage of that during the game, which contributed to their loss.
Here's the thing.
2 years ago, Green Bay, number 1 seed at home, 49ers with nothing to lose, and Jimmy Garoppolo.
13-10.
Here's the thing.
Jimmy.
When it boils down to stuff like this, if the team is solid in the trenches, they have a shot. They have a shot. And clearly, the last couple of weeks, Green Bay's offensive line has done a pretty damn good job protecting Love, and he has been smart enough to have good enough pocket presence to elude the sack, make the play when need be. And like they haven't had to overly rely on Aaron Jones like they've had in the past. And the fact that they don't have any like household names that are pass catchers makes them dangerous because like who are you going to scheme for? At this point, it's the little dirty slot receiver guy that they have that's the rookie.
Dontavian Wicks has been playing really well. For some reason, Jaden Reed had a goose egg last week.
That's his name. He's the receiver. He's the wide receiver number 1.
They got 2 tight ends. I think both rookies that are playing well. Jordan Love is just getting the ball where he needs to get it. And so he's reading defense as well. He's getting the protection that he needs. Aaron Jones is playing like Aaron Jones again. Finally, he's healthy.
AJ Dillon is coming back. AJ Dillon might be back. So they're gonna have a 1-2 punch.
That's what makes them dangerous. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Niners still have more playmakers on both sides of the ball, so they should win. They should win, but it's the playoffs.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. You're dealing with two coaches that know each other very well.
And right now, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but right now, I think Green Bay has the better quarterback player of the two. in the fact that Purdy hasn't had to do, like, the team hasn't had to rely on him because they have so many. They have McCaffrey. They have whereas with Jordan Love, they literally rely on him 100% all the time.
And it's also plays. Way better arm talent too. They got
to make plays.
Jordan Love's got.
I'll tell you what. Tom Brady was talking about how the level of quarterback play is really bad this year, and he's right. But lately, we have seen in the playoffs, especially, some phenomenal. These guys have arms, dude. Love, Stroud, even Jared Goff is dropping dimes. Like Stafford was dropping dimes. It's been high scoring games. It's been what we want in the playoffs. We don't want no 7-3 game. So I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But I also think it could be a shootout, man. And
yeah, it's possible.
Have you seen the over under? I think the over under is 50.5. That's
I think your team is pretty horrible in the secondary, right, Minos?
Yeah. Well, everybody's coming back. Tayshaun Gibson's back. George Odom is going to be back.
Okay. Shout out to Odom.
Yeah. He's our special team leader, dog.
Yeah, he was a killer. He was going to the Pro Bowl all the time when he was with us as a special team.
And also Armstead is going to be back for the first time in 6 weeks.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Yeah, it should pay off. But the playoffs, man, if you have an exceptional quarterback or quarterback play, you have a shot.
Yep.
Period. So, like, this is going to be a big test for Love to see where he is. Because at one point, Mahomes was like this too. Like, we always saw his potential, but he wasn't always what we see him as today, right? So there was a point where he took that next step. So let's see. It'll be interesting to see. I still have the Niners winning this game. They're too many difference makers on that team. But stranger things have happened in the playoffs. So
it's been so long, man. I need this.
So yeah. Let's move on to some of the other teams and games. Obviously Dallas was also booted in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, when you're playing with 6 DBs because you have no linebackers, they're gonna run it down your throat and then hit you with the play action pass.
Dallas hasn't run the ball or defended the run very well this year.
No, and that's something that they asked Nick Bosa about yesterday when they asked him about if he's shocked about the Cowboys and the Eagles not being in. He's like, well, for all season you can get away with stuff, but in the playoffs, if you can run it and stop the run, usually you stay in. Yeah. And they didn't, so
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowboys' middle linebacker is 160 pounds, Doug.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that?
Yeah, it's crazy. NFC is out. NFC East is out.
Whoa.
And the comments and memes about the Cowboys loss are just gold.
Dude, they probably got the worst of it, man.
Yeah, that's all
because at least everybody was ready for people were expecting the Eagles could probably lose. This was the Cowboys' time to shine. They were balling. CD was balling. Dak was going to break his demons.
And this shut all of them down.
He came into the stadium with a hat that said, "Here we go."
Yeah.
And it just, man, he turned into radio, dog.
Bro, to hear that statement again, it's probably going to be something else next year. Like, what the? This is probably the worst cadence.
Mike McCarthy, he's keeping his job, isn't he?
I mean, he is. I mean, after what Doc came out and said, I was like, yeah, this is somebody that's really standing by his coach, you know. And honestly, it kind of makes sense because he's been to the playoffs every year since he's been there.
He hasn't won a playoff game yet, has he?
He has.
Yeah,
he has.
Instantly.
They won last year against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Wow, it was actually. Oh wow.
Well, think of it this way: it's also smart for Dak to come to McCarthy's back like that because now McCarthy's going to come to Dak's back about, we need to get him an extension.
Yeah. True. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to go back. That's what I'm saying. That's why Fletcher was defending Nick because like he's trying to stay. I mean, you'll say anything just for that.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox is
to be fair, like if they move on for Dak, who are they gonna get? They're gonna have to
Trey Lance, baby.
I mean, they got Trey Lance, they got Cooper Rush, but I mean, the thing is, what I think will be best for them to give him like a 2 or 3 year extension.
Which one of those two is better than Dak?
None. Maybe Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush was okay till we exposed him last year.
Yeah,
because given
their draft position, there's no way they're getting anybody better than Dak. So they have no choice but to give him some form of an extension.
They could go sign Sam Darnold.
Come on, man.
I go ahead.
Nah, they have to give him an extension, but they have to give him a short extension. But also keep in mind, they have like 3 players that are up. CD's up for an extension. Micah's up for an extension. There's also somebody else. I can't remember. But they got a couple people that are up for extensions. I think Bland might be up too.
Yeah, but
Bland got burned. Bland got burned in the last game. Burned.
Bland is overrated though. He's been burned a lot.
Bland was kind of like Diggs. He'll catch the ball, but he'll get burnt in coverage.
Those guys, I mean, they're like Tampa 2 corners. They're not really coverage guys. They're zone guys, and they rely on the pass rush. They have good instincts when there's a good pass rush to know how to like jump the pass and pick. But if they have to, boils down to them having to cover 1-on-1, whatever it is, it's a long night.
The only person is Gilmore.
The pass rush didn't really get to Jordan Love, so the rest is in the history.
Where was Micah Parsons? Did he play?
Yeah,
Micah Parsons is Mike. They were running. I think Micah is overrated. I know everybody thinks he's good, but he's overrated.
Games
because they run at him. They don't run away from him. They run at him.
Players that have podcasts actively, like during the season, like Draymond Green, Michael Parsons, whatever. Okay, it's great. You're entertaining, man, but you ain't focused on what you're supposed to be focused on.
It's weird. It's kind of weird.
They have to put a rule in place, just like how you have. Rather than saying don't gamble, don't do a podcast. Like what the fuck?
No, don't do it. You can't do it. You're not talking about.
Kelsey's blown up, but
that's a rule that can never be put into place. How can you?
But you have listen.
A rule like that.
I can see that.
Gambling, I get. It's different. It infringes in your ability to actually put effort in. So if you like gamble against your team, you can easily try and throw the game yourself. But like to say somebody actively cannot, have a podcast, they'll just sue the league. They'll sue the league about infringing on their rights.
I'm not saying you can't. I just think that it's not a good look.
I agree.
It's not a good look.
It's weird. It's weird to me too, but there's no way to kind of implement that.
Because if you're talking about another team's game, like look at how much trash Michael Parsons was saying about the Niners. I get it. I mean, you can say whatever you want to say about Debo, but look at how much trash he was saying when they got beat by Baltimore. You're just staring up all this stuff that really you shouldn't be staring up, and then you got to play them. And if you have to play them in the playoffs, it becomes it may not turn into a natural game. It may turn into a fight.
Actually, it's funny. I bring that up though. I will say this: for the last 15 years, Tom Brady has been on weekly with Jim Gray, and I love that segment. I love Jim Gray and Tom Brady, and now they have the Let's Go podcast, like literally like every week for 15 years. But he's not. I don't know. It's different, man. That's Tom Brady. You leave Tom alone. You know, Tom does what Tom does.
So in essence, you got to pay your dues first before you start entertaining those things. Basically,
gotta have 7 rings to be able to do that.
I hear you. But now, yeah, it's crazy. The NFC, just like that, the NFC East is out. But there were other really decent, interesting games as well. Like we saw the Steelers and the Bills. I mean, the Bills jumped off to a big start, and then the Steelers were slowly trying to creep in. They just didn't have enough playmakers to like complete the job.
You see somebody throw that snowball at George Pickens when he tried to catch the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't a dildo.
Wow.
Well, that's what they throw in Buffalo. They threw in the last game of the season against Miami. They threw it. No. Their last home game, they threw a dildo in the end zone.
I remember that. That was hilarious. That was against the Patriots, wasn't it? Or against Miami?
Well, they did it again this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Bills are so inconsistent. They should have. Well, I mean, they won convincingly, but I feel like if there was a team with a better quarterback, that game might have been.
Yeah.
Because the second half they didn't really score. It was more so.
I missed the whole game. But
yeah, the Steelers started to come back in the second half. They just didn't have enough difference makers to complete that comeback.
What was the final score of that game?
31-17. So,
well, I mean, look, you already know the NFL wanted their rematch. Chiefs, Bills. They weren't going to have no Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Steelers. Like they want Bills, Chiefs. Come on.
Speaking of which, that game was pathetic. The Dolphins at the Chiefs was a pathetic game.
Yeah.
And Tua, I don't know how I feel about Tua though. He ain't it to me, but
basically,
no one has to mind.
Mike McDaniel has his version of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, but he's about to get paid though. Tua's probably going to get paid.
He's about to be on his 5th year, right?
Yeah, and then they have to sit down. They have to talk because they've been to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs twice. I mean, last year he was hurt.
Got a winning record. He's got like a 60% win percentage as a quarterback.
So does Jimmy Garoppolo. And look at that shit.
Tua is a better quarterback than Jimmy G.
Tua is trash, man. The motherfucker throws like he should be
Tua Tua. The thing with Tua is he has speedy receivers he's throwing to. Making him look good.
This motherfucker could not throw a 5-yard pass over the weekend. Everything was going high.
Negative 27 degrees.
Dude, he's playing in Kansas City. It's freezing cold.
That was a big factor, but damn, bro.
Yeah. The shit was just awful.
He should have run.
They started way before the playoffs, though. Like there were just too many games where he was just subpar when they needed him the most. And
watch Hard Knocks, man. Every fucking episode, he's got like 2 to 3 interceptions a game on simple shit. Because if it's not like his first read where he can just launch it to Tyreek or Waddle, and he's got to try and force something in there. It's awful.
It's like
Miami had to
trying to force it to certain players.
Yeah, well, Miami had the same problem that Dallas had. They didn't beat winning teams this year. They beat losing teams and made it to the playoffs and got exposed.
Yeah.
They knew that 70 points they got.
Yeah.
They beat Dallas. Yeah.
They need
Dallas.
They need consistency. They need consistency in their defense. They need a tight end, and they need consistency out of Tua.
Yeah, and also their defense, man. They lost so many people to injury.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the defense. Yeah, they have Vic Fangio. So
yeah, but when you're bringing in Jason Pierre-Paul, is hopefully to help you cross the line.
They also have Bradley Chubb, who's actually pretty good. So
Chubb got hurt though. Chubb was out there.
Tore his ACL.
Yeah, late. But even before that, they were struggling. Before he went out, they were struggling. So, but you're right. He did get hurt.
Quickly, I saw something by Scott Van Pelt, because you know how he's a Washington fan. He had a good point. He said you could look at the Eagles season and see how much they struggled with us, but all the good teams blew us out. We got smashed by all the good teams in the NFL. He said, look how much the Eagles struggled against Washington. Like, we suck. So, I mean,
you guys
he's got a good
defense.
No, we had a good defense in those games, but same thing with Dallas though. Look at Dallas smashed us, and I don't think Dallas had a good day. They don't have no run game. You know,
Dallas didn't beat anybody. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, as much as those clowns want to argue, they didn't beat anybody worth talking about. Detroit, even Detroit, the referees just stole the game and gave it to them.
Hey, this wasn't them losing the ultimate ball don't lie moment.
Yeah. And this is perfect because this is and I said it because I was saying it maybe a week or two ago. I'm like, I would rather not win that division. Whoever is the 7th seed is going to be a tough team. So I would rather not win the division.
You're right.
Yeah, I said it because I was like, if they play Seattle, not so much Green Bay, because Green Bay shocked me. Because I was like, if they play Seattle, the Saints, they're going to lose. Even Green Bay, I was like, they're low on the shaky side, but they could beat them. And it happened.
Rams, I mean, that game was close too. The Rams,
that was a hell of a game.
Oh, I knew that game was going to be close. I knew it was going to be close.
That was the best game. That was the best game this weekend. Like straight up.
Did they do anything for Stafford? I mean, I missed the beginning part of it.
They booed him.
They didn't do like the Jumbotron or anything like that.
No, they ain't doing that shit for the playoffs.
No, I thought they would do it, and they would do it after they beat him and be like, "Yeah, okay, thank you for everything. We just beat your ass. Now go home."
They booed him. They booed his wife. They booed his kids. I
thought Philly was crazy, but damn, Detroit.
It would be weird if they did the trade. Stafford wins with the Rams. It'd be crazy. It's not going to happen. I doubt it. But could Jared Goff win the Super Bowl? The Lions, Jared Goff to trade number 1 pick. And it's weird because they have this narrative that's kind of true that most first-round picks, don't really pan out. It's the quarterbacks in the NFL that are not first-round picks. But in the guys that are left, first-round picks. Some guys that are left, you got Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff.
It's number Stafford. 1 picks, though.
Yeah. Who am I missing? Who's the last one?
Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have Matt Jones. You have Matt Jones in New England.
Not for long.
Hey, Trey Lance too was a first-round pick.
Well, I saw an interview with Brock Purdy today, and he was talking about, being compared to Lamar and other guys, and he said, "Look, those guys are those guys. I am who I am," and he's right. He doesn't have to go be someone else. Just do you, because he obviously, he's
system around him. He got a good system around him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to throw shade at him, but he has a good system.
I would not be mad if Brock Purdy wins a ring. Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, let's go, dude. Let's go.
I mean, what other way can the league what's it called?
Devalue
the value of a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna give it to Lamar Jackson, man.
Well, Lamar's gonna be no, man.
Sorry, dude.
I've already seen this fucking movie.
Both, man.
There's no
MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
No,
he's gonna be that joint.
No, he's got to be MVP.
Negotiated his own contract, even though I was against it.
There's no way he's not the MVP.
Oh, he's definitely the MVP. So
and the Super Bowl MVP.
Give Purdy the Super Bowl.
That is if you go past Detroit.
Speaking of which, the OG, should I say the young bull, young G, CJ Stroud went in there and took Cleveland apart, bro. Man,
I'm frightened of him.
Shout out to the kid. He's a good player, man. He's a good player.
Damn,
man.
Honestly, I'm praising Baltimore, but I could see him take out Baltimore.
Nah, they're not taking care. They don't have enough playmakers to beat Baltimore.
There's no way.
They just don't have enough playmakers to beat Baltimore. I'm
gonna
tell you straight up.
Where he places the ball. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna win, but I can.
We have played both teams. We've played the Texans twice. The second time, we probably should have won that game. Dude dropped the ball. Fine.
Yeah.
First, and both games, CJ Stroud had the stats to win, but we won the first game pretty handily. The second game, mishaps here and there. We played Baltimore. We beat Baltimore. Dog, I'm telling you, CJ Stroud, even if he has a good game, there's no way he's beating the Ravens. I'm telling you right now, there's no way he's not beating the Ravens. The Ravens are good where it matters. They're a physical team. They're good at the trenches, and they have difference makers.
And isn't Andrews coming back?
Anything's possible. I agree. I give you that. Anything's possible.
They tend
but
to choke.
they'll need more than CJ Stroud to win that game.
If Lamar doesn't choke, though, because he chokes a lot. I mean, he chokes in the playoffs.
Pause.
The Texans defense.
Is that fair to say? Because he's been injured a lot of times going into the playoffs. This is
he's never had any running backs.
No, but when he's in the playoffs,
this is also probably the most talented offensive roster he's had since he's been in the playoffs.
Yep.
So if he chokes here, we'll call him out. It is what it is. But I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
True. Just like everybody said, the Patriots would go undefeated this season, and they lost to the Giants.
I knew they were going to lose.
I actually bet $100.
Oh, I knew it at the time.
I knew they were going to lose. Like all that shit.
Can we not talk about that, please? Move on.
Two reasons. Going back to that game real quick. Sorry, Si. I know me and you have had this vendetta for a while, but I'm very objective when it comes to this stuff. As much as I hate y'all, I give you your props. Going into that game, your defense was washed. They were old. They started to give up points. The way Tom Brady and them were talking shit going into that game, and the way what's his face, Osei Umenyiora and Strahan, where they were like, all right, cool.
Yep.
Literally, the first two drives, I knew they were going to lose that game. Tom Brady got his ass whooped. I mean, the hits he took in that game, I was like, they're not winning this game. They're not winning this game.
But don't forget, Anthony.
Granted, there was some lucky. They were lucky.
Was what New Year's Eve
catch and all that. I give you that. But
New Year's Eve, the Giants.
Yeah, I remember that game on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, Anthony. Me, you, Kofi. We were in that hotel in DC. That shootout.
Yeah, and you and you.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Yeah, we were there. Yeah. I forgot about that.
You never told us what happened.
And honestly, even that game, I think Strahan said, we'll see him again.
Yes.
We're not talking about that weekend in DC.
Yes.
Strahan said, we'll see him again. Yeah.
And for me, it was more so, I felt like the Patriots defense was worn out by that game. They were old. There were a lot of veterans there.
Junior Seau, Bruschi.
They were all they were old. They were
old. You had Randy Moss on his third team at the time.
And like just the way they were generating consistent pressure on Brady, I was like, nah, dog. It's about to be a long night. They still scored points, though. They still scored points. But that game was what, 17? 17, 14 or something?
The ball out of Tyree's hand. Just punch the ball out of his hand.
Yeah.
No answer.
I knew they were going to lose that game. I just had that gut instinct that they were going to lose that game.
Plaxico was playing with what?
Plaxico was cold. Yeah.
Cheddar Bob.
Yeah, man. But yeah, back to the present day. Into the games now. I think our first game will be the Texans at the Ravens. Dog, I'm gonna keep it real. This is why I don't think CJ Stroud is gonna win this game. Because they don't know how they don't run the ball well. They don't run the ball well. You have to be balanced to beat the Ravens.
He's him, brother.
He's him, but he can't. Dog. All the Ravens' losses this year have been.
You guys beat them,
huh?
Y'all beat the Ravens
because we ran the ball. We ran the ball. If you run the ball and have decent. A competent quarterback. Shout out to that day. Gets you played all right. Gets you actually played all right that game.
The lady in the back.
Yeah, you remember my video? She was ready to kill me. Oh man, yeah. And honestly, I feel like no, CJ Stroud is him. He's a beast. But like, if they need to run the ball, like they need to be able to run the ball. Otherwise, they have no chance.
But ain't nobody running on Baltimore. You can't run on Baltimore. I don't think
it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. So if you have decent trenches, the Rams lost, but they came close to beating them when the Ravens were on fire because Kyron Williams was balling. Like they were able to balance both. They were able to balance it. And not too many teams can do that. And for me,
but I agree with Kwaku. Kwaku's right. The only way the Ravens lose this game is if Lamar has a bad game.
I agree, 100%. If Lamar fucks it up, they can lose this game. If Lamar fucks it up, they can lose this game.
Defense makes plays. They have Will Anderson. They got some playmakers on their side that can really, really disrupt things. That's their key to the game for them.
I agree. If they can disrupt things with Lamar, they have a shot. But offensively, they got to be able to run the ball as well. Because if they put everything on Stroud, it might be a long night. He might make plays. He's him. So he will make plays. But it doesn't guarantee. Like, for instance, when they played us the first time, he actually had a better game than when they beat us last time. But we beat them by at least 2 scores because they were not able to run the ball. And we had, at the time, we also had Anthony Richardson. So it was a very different offensive output for us. Yeah, I don't get, but anything's possible. I'll say that because football. But realistically, if they don't run the ball,
what's the weather? What's the weather going to be like? It's in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, if it's anything like it is right now, it's going to be cold because we just had snow. We just had snow. It's supposed to snow again on Friday, so it's probably going to be cold.
Yo, and let's not forget,
which is why you need to be able to run the ball.
Let's not forget about the weather in Detroit.
Yeah, they play. They play.
That lady. That lady. I mean, as a news reporter, you probably should know that Detroit they play in the dome.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give her grace.
No, Ford Field. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, unless she's new to football and didn't know that they play in the dome.
I have. So yeah, that first game I definitely have the Ravens winning, and I have them winning realistically by at least a 2-score game.
Same here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stroud might still have a great game, but they need to be able to. There's just the Ravens are a good team, dog.
They're a good team.
They're a fucking good team.
I know.
They're a good team, and if anything, if there's another factor that will affect them, it's possibly rust because they didn't play last week.
That doesn't matter. I mean,
but I think they'll be dialed in.
They can still win.
I love Lamar. So let me tell you something.
Me too. Big fan of Lamar.
Hate the Ravens, bro. Hate them. But you know what? I'm an Orioles fan. Let's go, baby.
Next door, right now.
I can't go out in Baltimore if I wanted to go anywhere. But yeah, I think the Ravens win, except if Lamar goofs off.
Yeah.
He be doing some dumb stuff. Not this year so much, but he'd be doing some dumb stuff in the playoffs.
Because the Texans will pick you off if you're not on your game.
I think they also have a new coordinator this year, so that helps. That's kind of helped their offense as well. He's a lot smarter with his decision making. He's passing a lot more in the pocket than scrambling. He scrambles when he has to, and not just scramble just for scramble's sake. And when he does, when there's nothing there, you see him throw the ball away a lot more. He doesn't turn over the ball as much as he does like when he's erratic in the past. So I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, like John says, it boils down. Will Anderson and all those guys on the line be a difference maker? But I also think the Texans are just way too young as well. Just young.
Oh, I forgot about Harbaugh. They want Harbaugh to win a ring, don't they?
He already got a goddamn ring. Fuck him.
Oh yeah, 2 brothers. That would be a good story. 2 brothers.
Funny guys, man.
We've already seen that fucking story.
Oh,
they want to see Debo again.
I forgot you were part of it.
I should probably make my name back. Make Debo cry.
The lights went out.
Yeah, the light out joint. Actually, the Saturday's games are actually the best ones. The Packers at the Niners, huh?
Yep, prime time.
Prime time. How you feel, bro?
Nervous. You know me. I mean, if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll win. But shit, man, anything can happen. We went in Green Bay a bunch of times and knocked them in the mouth. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has never beaten us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So think about that. And I think there was only one time when we were the higher seed.
Yeah. Also, this
Aaron
game
Rodgers in the playoffs besides that one dream season he had?
I don't think so. No, he beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Remember, Dez dropped it.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't seen that
video. The Cowboys a bunch of times.
Yeah. He just chokes in the AFC Championship game most of the time.
It's a lovely thing. Though.
The weather shouldn't be a factor in your game too. So
hopefully not.
If anything, it'll be rain. That's not cold out there. If anything, it'll be rain.
Nah, Debo was practicing in shorts today.
Yeah, it should be no weather influence. Again, for me, if Green Bay is to have a shot, it'll be the fact that they don't have any like real household names except their running back, and scheming will be interesting. Scheme. I mean, offensively, who are you scheming to take away? Like, are you taking away Jordan Reed? Who is it? Like, they don't really have like the Devontae Adams like they used to have. Well, okay, we need to stop him. Like, there's nobody that's really established. So if anything,
it's like with the running game.
See, but here's our thing: if we can get pressure on Jordan Love with the front four,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
He gets rid of the ball quick, though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I agree. Which is possible given that Armstead is coming back now.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, if they can't run the ball, then everybody could just pin their ears back and just run straight at him.
Yeah. Because
it's not like he's not like Lamar where you blink and Lamar is 15 yards down the fucking field.
Yeah, no, he's not.
I mean, he's a quarterback that can run, but he's not a quarterback. He's not the running quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like Lamar is a track star. That's a good quarterback. Jordan Love can, get you the yards you need. He's kind of, but he plays a lot.
He's got an arm too.
But he can pick on the defense though. He can pick because some of the balls he was throwing last week, he throws it and he just throws it in the spot, and the player just goes and gets it.
Yeah, he's got an arm.
But don't forget though, we got ball hawks. I think we were second in the league in interceptions this year.
Yeah.
You don't have to be fast. You might watch the Ravens tape.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, I mean, hopefully I'm right, but the Packers were the 7th seed for a reason.
Yeah, I think they got hot late.
They beat Detroit.
They got hot late. They started to figure out who they were because they're a very young team.
Yeah.
So, So
the youngest team in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are.
So hopefully the spotlight is too big for them, and they take.
If you can contain.
If you went to Dallas, I don't think it's too big.
If you can contain Jordan Reed, you got a shot because Jordan Reed is fast as shit. So, and he's a slot guy. So, he's the like bigger playmaker guy in the receiving corps. So, I mean, we'll see. I still have you winning just because you have just more difference makers. Just overall. If they win, to me, it'll be a Cinderella win. to be real, but I got y'all winning that game. 2 scores.
I'm going 28-14 us.
Are you going big? I got it. 28. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's 2 scores. Yeah.
34-24. San Fran.
The game's going to start. The game might start slow because we haven't really played, but who knows? I don't fucking know. Anything can happen. I just hope the script writers are in my favor.
My question is,
Um,
how do we even pick the game? Because we didn't predict any of the scores for last week. I mean, who had 31 to, what was the game? 31 points from the Bucks,
that
41
was
punts.
last week. Let's pick this game.
We didn't pick scores. We just picked who we thought would win last week. Same here.
Right.
I mean, you could pick scores if you want. I just think it'll be two score.
I don't remember much of last week. I was pretty in the sky.
Honestly, as much as San Francisco, as good as San Francisco is, and I know that it's probably Green Bay is probably people might think it's just a gimmick. I could see Green Bay beating San Francisco, but I know everybody thinks I'm going to pick Green Bay, but I'm going to pick the Niners. It's going to be a close game. I say 26-24, but it would be nice to see Debo lose again, and then let's see if they talk about the Eagles or they talk about the Packers, like how they talk about the Eagles.
No, because
it's possible the Packers could win.
Possible.
Just because
It's very possible.
It's going to be purely on anonymity. Like nobody knows who the fuck is like. They have no household names, so it's like
I mean they're beating people on primetime. They beat Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. They went and beat Dallas. Like I mean they're good on the road.
I mean, Detroit. To be fair, Detroit is a division game. Anything goes in that. And then Dallas is
got exposed.
I'm picking Green Bay.
I do want to pick Green Bay, but I feel like San Fran's gonna win though.
Me too.
I think San Fran. If San Fran loses, it'll be because of Brock Purdy, dog.
They're gonna beat. It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be because of Brock Purdy if they lose, because they have way too many difference makers to not lose to lose this game. So, but
I will say that the logo this year is the Ravens and the 49ers colors. So, for the Super Bowl logo, you already know what's gonna happen there.
Anyway, let's go for the Sunday games, baby. The Bucks are at the Lions in the dome, not outdoors.
The Lions.
I got the Lions too.
Yeah, I got the Lions, man. It's over for Tampa. Sorry.
31-17 Lions.
You got it that big? Damn.
Pause.
Yeah, pause.
Well, in all fairness, I do got it that big.
Oh, God.
Just go play on the right side. Just go ahead and play on.
You gave that to me.
Whoa.
Pause again. Anyway. I got Detroit winning that joint. They're firing on all cylinders, more so than the Bucks. The Bucks have a shot though. They got some playmakers. Evans. Their running back White is just I don't trust Baker Mayfield. He's played well this year, but like the Colts, we beat them, dog, and that's how I got Detroit, dog. I got Detroit.
Detroit is gonna win.
Yeah. So
what a story! What a season for them, man. Yeah.
So
I low-key like Detroit in the Super Bowl, but it's not gonna happen.
Chiefs at the Bills. I actually have the Bills winning this final.
I got the Bills.
I want to say I want the Chiefs to win because, and let me ask y'all this. Based on the last game that the Chiefs had with the Bills, the refs, are they required to tell a player when the neutral zone in practice?
They're not required. You ask,
but you actually got to continue. But you got to look.
He asked and he didn't look for the confirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sucks. He shouldn't even be on the field. He sucks.
I agree. He's terrible.
What, Tony?
Terrible.
Yeah, he's trash.
I mean, Mahomes is the guy. He's him, but they just haven't looked very good this year. So
I want the Bills because they're AFC East.
But at the same time, the Bills play in spurts. They have moments where you're like, damn, this team's good. And then they have moments where like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, they're at Buffalo.
So y'all know why Travis Kelce has so many drops this year?
Watch your toss.
Because all these years, man, he's had, a nice, thick woman grabbing those cheeks all night so he could hold on to a football. Now he's got Taylor Swift with pancake ass
Don't get us canceled.
just right through his hands.
Hey, get us canceled. You, Anthony, you don't want to call the walking first down mark.
Huh?
You don't want to call her the living first down mark.
The straight edge?
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Her swag surf has raisins in it.
Can't stand her.
I don't feel her.
You like her, Si?
I just said I don't feel her.
Oh, my bad.
You can't because she's got no body.
Anyway, who y'all got?
I got the Bills.
Buffalo.
Bills.
William and Mary offensive connection with McDermott and Joe Brady.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Where are they playing? In Kansas City or in
Buffalo?
Buff.
Okay. If it was in
Hopefully it
Kansas,
doesn't snow again.
if it was in Kansas City, I'd go with the Chiefs. But if it's in Buffalo, I'd go with Buffalo.
If the governor doesn't cancel,
I don't think
this game too.
I don't think the teams are that much different. They're very inconsistent this year, both of them. So, but I'll just give the home advantage in this one.
Gabe Davis is going to go off in this game.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all the games.
That's all the games, dog. We're winding down. Next week we'll be down to what, two games?
Yeah.
I hope I'm still talking about my team.
We're gonna see.
Right now.
I do hope so too.
We're gonna see.
Bang, bang, 49er, bang, bang.
I'm looking
just how
forward
y'all
to
got it.
talking about the offseason after the Super Bowl. So that should be interesting. Hopefully, we have a lot more people on this show to talk about their teams. People like Sam that are never on here. Maybe Rex will talk about possibly a Super Bowl win, or
He ain't coming on here.
we're like able to talk about.
We
the
know
Cowboys.
lost to this.
Yeah, Rex ain't coming on here.
Yeah, Rex ain't coming on unless I'm not on.
He said he don't want heart palpitations because he deals with you.
All right, on that note, we're out.
We're out. Let me outro this jump.